Live.
Yeah. Oops.
Due to some violent content,
Logo.
parental discretion
Logo.
advised.
Stupid. Stupid. Go with it, because you never know what's going to fucking happen. Go with it. Famous words from a stupid little man. Stupid little ginger man. All right, we ready? Get all my pens. And away we go. And away we go.
Oh, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, does picking your nose cause brain damage? And also, horses are the new sneaker pimps. And does this missing person smell like a loved one? And also, a hospital releases a patient, and within hours, he loses his legs. All this and much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? Is going to basically be my mantra, I guess, for this whole past year. Actually, for the last 2 years, make sure that everyone's doing okay. That's how it came to be because of the pandemic. Everyone was trapped inside. So I'm going to continue to ask to make sure that you're doing okay as well. Now, for me, I am doing just fine. I'm actually in a good mood today. And when I say I'm in a good mood, last week's show, I talked about good customer service. Well, by God, I think someone heard it, and I got good customer service. Now, don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. You can see me sitting here in the studio. Hi. Go over to YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to us as well. And you can find us on all our social platforms. And the way you do that is to go over to Prophet Radio. That's our big landing page over there. We love those people over at Prophet Radio. Click on free swag and get some free stuff over there. You can also, that's your link to us as far as getting on the podcast as well. And the way you do that is in the bottom right-hand side of the page. I believe it's a little blue bar. I forget how it shows up on your tablets or whatever. But wherever device you're listening to us at or on, there's a little blue tab that says Be Heard. Click on that, opens up a microphone, speak right into it, speak clearly. You can be anonymous if you want. You can ask us any questions that you want or tell us anything that we would love to hear from you or that you want us to hear from you. And we'll play it on this podcast if you get it in soon enough. If not, we'll play it on the very next podcast as well, and you can be part of the show. It's that easy. Now, like I said, last week we talked about customer service and just sending out random emails, or not random emails, but just emails to people that I needed shit to get done. I need this to get done. Now, I haven't been in the corporate world for a very, very long time. Now, when I say corporate world, where I physically have to go into an office, I physically have to put some kind of pants on. I have to put some kind of button-up shirt on. I have to put some kind of gel in my hair. I have to shave every day. That type corporate office, and having to deal with 50 to 60, if not 100 people at any given time. Here at the studio, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres here. We have an 800 square foot studio that's finished. We have AC, all the electrical stuff, running water, all that stuff above our 3-car garage on our ranch, which is part farm, part ranch. I think I've covered everything. Is everyone up to date on everything? Good. So I sent out some emails based on, we ordered a truck from the Chevy dealership. We special ordered it, and I wasn't getting the satisfaction that I wanted. So I told you guys about it last week. I sent them a nice little email, and I'm typing, as you can see me here on the camera, I'm typing, doing the pantomime of me typing here. And I sent them a nice little email saying, hey, this is taking a little bit longer. Can we get this done? Can we get that done? So on and so forth. Well, guess what, people? They responded. When I say they, the salesperson guy, the one who already got his money, already got his nice review, he got everything. Now, I don't know if he listens to the show or not, but if he does, Matt, thank you. Thank you for I don't know, not really doing much, but making sure that I got what I needed, because he didn't have to do much. He just has to inform me when shit comes in and shit's going out. He didn't have to sell me on anything because we did it all online. So, Matt, thank you. And thank you for my email, because the email that I got literally 2 days later after I sent the big long list of everything that I need to have done with the truck, I'm not happy with this, we need a refund on this and all that stuff. Within 2 days, he's like, so let me backtrack a little bit. We ordered this truck, $80,000 truck. I forget how much it was. $80,000-$90,000 truck for the French here. We have horses and stuff, so we need something heavy to pull trailer. Everything came in just fine. The floor mats were in a box, so when they pulled them out of the box, they don't sit in the front passenger and driver seat very well. We're getting that fixed. And the rims and tires that I bought for the truck were on back order. I don't know how they can be on back order, but obviously they were on back order. They didn't come with the truck, so it had like stock wheels on them. So fast forward to my email, and fast forward 2 days later after my email. Hey, it just so happens, I know you've been waiting 3 months for these, but as soon as you sent your email, they came in. Imagine that. Imagine that. So I'm thinking in my head, all right, you know what they've done? And I'm telling my wife, I'm always a conspiracy, they're screwing me. They're screwing me somewhere. A truck came in with the rims and stuff that I wanted, and they've been driving it around on those rims and tires and stuff. They just pulled them off that truck, and they're going to stick them on my truck. And so my wife goes, well, make sure that you see them before they put them on. I said, you know what? Damn it, that's what I'm going to do. Sure enough, went down there. I'm like, hey, man, I just want to make sure that hitting the microphone here. We're upgrading the studio, so we're running on bare bones here at the moment. You can hear the springs and stuff. That'll go away on the upgrade. So I physically wanted to see these tires and rims. And I looked, and I said to my wife, I said, did we just buy the rims, or did we buy the rims and the tires? Because I don't want them peeling off these stock tires and stick them on my, $3,000 rims. I know it's a lot of money out there. I know we've worked hard, we've saved hard, and we've done our portion of our life as far as getting our shit together. We deserve this. We deserve to treat ourselves for this. So don't judge me. If you on your level might have the same opportunity to do the same thing that people below you couldn't afford and couldn't do anything like that. So I'm not knocking anyone. Live on your level. So I'm like thinking that they're pulling these tires off of this truck and then just going to slap them on my truck, and this other truck's going to be sitting up on blocks until they can get some other sucker to come in with some wheels and tires. So I said, when I got there, I'm like, hey man, I'm here to pick up my tires and rims. I'm going to drop the truck off. You can do all the car care, the polymer coating that everything's on. I said, can I see the rims and tires that you're going to put on there? And he's like, yeah, they're up. I think they're upstairs, but let me double check with the parts department. Right. They're upstairs. So he walks off. He comes back. He's like, come on over. And sure enough, they have like a mezzanine. If you've ever worked in theater or anything like that, they've got this huge mezzanine above their parts department. I'm walking on like the metal grates and stuff. And sure enough, there they are, stacked up, fresh with a UPS sticker on every single one of them. And they've got the boxes for the bolts and the boxes for the little, the cap that goes over the main centerpiece with the bow tie. And I'm like going, well, can we open up those and make sure? And sure enough, they were brand new. I'm like going, good. Thank you. I'm so relieved. And then there was a couple other things I wanted refunds on. We were tricked, talked into, scammed. I don't know however you want to do it. He was a fast talker. He talked really fast. The guy at the, when you're signing all the paperwork on that digital desk. Oh, and you got an extended warranty, and then the extended warranty goes for 8 years and 80,000 miles. And that price is a deductible $100. Are you okay with that? Okay, with you okay with that? We're going to slap on another $4,500 on top of your thing and sign there and sign there and sign there. Great, beautiful truck. We love your truck. We love your truck. It's beautiful. And all right, now we're going on to the bubble. And, that quickly, we signed up for another $5,000 worth of coverage on it. And I'm looking at the contract, and I'm like going, no. Wait for the tires to come in. No, I don't want this, because we're never going to drive in 8 years, we're never going to drive 180,000 miles. We've had the truck for 3 months. We barely drove 900 miles in it so far. So, needless to say, the truck's in the shop. I know you guys are all pins and needles waiting for my rims and tires, but I will take a picture of it when it comes in, and I will show it, and you will see it. And make sure you follow us on all our social networks, and the way you see that, so you can see the tires and trucks, or the truck with the tires on it over on our social network as well. All right, guys, stick around. We got a extra large show to get into this week, and I want to talk to you about my dad and I went out for lunch, and the bartender, brand new bartender, tried to kill my dad, I guess. All right, so stick around. I'll get into that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We will give you something for free, but you got to do me a favor. You have to go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on the free swag section. There's a little drop-down menu. Pick out whatever sticker pack, whatever magnet pack you got. We'll be updating adding more swag stuff to you that's not listed up there. So it's like a little grab bag, a little go bag, surprises. And coming out of Halloween, who knows what you might get? You might get a trick, you might get a treat, but fill that out there. We'll send it out to you. And for all our listeners overseas, over in Europe and the other continents, we send those out once a month. So it might take a little bit longer to get to you, but by God, we will get it to you as well. Just fill that out. All right, guys. So my dad and I, we dropped the truck off. He actually followed me up there to drop my truck off. My dad's got this small Ford what's it called? EcoSport. I think it's got like 3 cylinders and only 2 of them work. But it's a small car for him. He's 76 years old, so it takes him where he needs to go. I think he made a comment that it goes, it's got the what did he say? It's got the pickup speed of dead roadkill, was I think his actual statement on that. So he followed me up to the Chevy dealership, dropped the truck off, and I said, you know what, Dad? Because you dropped me off, up here, I know funds are tight. He's 76 years old. He's just pulling Social Security and whatever, that he's got going on in his life. I said, I'll buy you lunch today. So we went to a place here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a small little town that actually has stuff. Marshville, we ain't got shit. We got 2,500 people that are arguing over, 50 jobs in the area. Who's working Wendy's this weekend and who's working Bojangles this weekend. Literally, that's the only restaurants and stuff that we have, and then we have a food line. But over Monroe, fancy Monroe, they've got a little bit more over there as far as like franchises and stuff. So I said to my dad, I'll take you to O'Charlie's. Now, O'Charlie's is like a Bennigan / Chili's / what do they call it? Casual dining, I think is the actual term for that. And so I said, Dad, and with O'Charlie's, that I've never had anywhere else outside of the actual, they have the basic food that like those restaurants would have as far as casual dining. The food has always been fresh. It's always been hot. It's always been not overcooked, not undercooked. It's always been perfect. It's always been great. From the fish, from the chicken to the steak, I've had everything, every aspect, every protein on that menu. Everything that I've had has always been good. I've always had good service. Now they've been shorthanded here, but you have to take the peas with the pod. You have to take the lumps with the sump because, the pandemic and they can't get people to work. So we go up to the bar. When we go in there and we go up to the bar, my dad's like, it's 12 o'clock somewhere, right? It's 12 o'clock somewhere. So my dad goes, let's sit at the table. I said, fuck that. I'm sitting at the bar, Dad. You're driving, not me. So he's like, is the bar open? I'm like, yeah, the bar's open. The lights are on. Like, the coolers are on. So he's sitting there and he's looking over the menu. He's looking at, they got like 8 taps on there. And he's like, I wonder if they have a non-alcoholic beer. Only because my dad, he does drink beer. He drinks Mick Ultra here at the house. But of course, he's 76 years old. One beer is like us young people drinking 12. So if he has a sip of beer, he's not going to be able to drive. Yada, yada, yada. He just wants to enjoy the taste of the beer with his meal, not an actual beer, for the buzz and the fun that it brings. So young girl behind the counter or comes out from the kitchen to the bar, and it's Halloween day, Halloween afternoon, and she's got spiders painted on her eyebrows and all this other stuff. And young girl, come to find out, she's 23 years old, only because she told us. And this is her first time, quote unquote, bartending by herself or being responsible behind the bar. Normally she's done like side work for the bar, but this is the actual first time that she's, quote unquote, the bartender for the restaurant. And I said, okay, what is your name? She said, my name is Caitlin. I said, okay, Caitlin, my dad would like a non-alcoholic beer. She goes, I think we have that. I said, okay. This is where I found out the story about her just being a bartender for the first time. She opens up the little glass cooler down below. She pulls out a Dos Equis, and it's an unfamiliar looking bottle to me, and says, this is Dos Equis. And I go, Daddy, you ever had Dos Equis non-alcoholic? He goes, yeah, I'll try it. So she pops the top, pours it in a nice cold glass. It's got an amber look to it. She sets it on the counter, puts the bottle next to him. I'll say I'll have a tall Miller Lite. She does a Miller Lite draft for me, sits it down. I go to wash my hands. I come back. My dad's looking at me like, ho, ho, ho. I go, what do you mean, ho, ho, ho? He goes, tell me what that bottle says. He can't see. So he hands me the bottle, and I go, oh, Dos Equis Amber Especial or something like that. And I look at the side, and it says on the side, says 4.7% ABV. I go, Dad, did you take a sip? He goes, yeah, I took one sip, and I go, there's alcohol in this thing. So I set it on the counter. I said, well, are you going to drink it? And we'll sit here for an hour while it, wears off? Or he's like, no. Just give me like Diet Coke or something. All right. Caitlin comes back and says, and she brings, they've got like house rolls or something with the honey butter, puts them up on the counter. She's like, are you ready to order? And I go, Caitlin, new time bartender. Did you read the side of this bottle? And she looks at it and goes, well, I thought I did. Typical 23-year-old. I said, read that on the side. I said, it says 4.7% alcohol. Am I reading that right? She's like, oh my God, yes, it does. I thought this was non-alcoholic beer. She's like, I even looked it up on my phone because I didn't recognize this. And this is where the story gets a little funny. I said, oh, really? She's like, oh my God. I said, well, and she goes, I thought it was non-alcoholic beer. I said, so Caitlin, have you been serving this to children? Have you been serving this to minors? No. She starts laughing. No, I haven't. I just had a child 4 months ago or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, here we go. Caitlin, brand new bartender, just had a child 4 months ago, thought that the Dos Equis Amber Bock style lager was non-alcoholic and is serving my dad, who asked for a non-alcoholic beer, and now she's a new mom and with a new child. You see the connection there? Something's misfiring somewhere in that conversation as far as she looked it up online, something, and I'm afraid for her child. I hope her child does okay. She'll be fine. She seemed like a real nice girl. My dad even said, what a nice bartender. I almost said waitress, but bartender. I said, yeah, Dad, but just think, the accident that she messed up here, she's got a 4-month-old sitting at the house. What else is she going to mess up online reading something or something like that? I don't know. So just throwing it out there. That was our experience. We had a great lunch. I had a couple beers. My dad had fish and chips. We had a great time over at Old Charlie's, and then he drove me home, and then he fell asleep because he had a big full belly. All right, guys, stick around. I got a lot more to get into, and we'll start getting into the news bits that you missed this past week. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to be heard? Of course you do. Everyone wants to be heard. And the way you can be heard on this podcast, that's right, I'm talking about your voice extended out to over 55 countries here on this planet and over 43 United States here in our local broadcasting area. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on the Be Heard section, there's a little blue bar. Opens up a microphone on whatever device you're listening to us at. You can be anonymous. You can just tell us how you feel or tell me what you're feeling like, and we'll play it on this podcast if you get it in time today or the very next podcast as well. Speak clearly. You can be anonymous if you want as well. Now, just coming out of Halloween, and my wife takes gummies, like everyday morning vitamins and stuff. She can't take, she refuses, not that she refuses, she just doesn't like taking the pills at night because when it sits on her stomach, it makes her stomach upset, and I can understand that. Take them in the morning. Same thing. It makes her stomach upset. So she refers to gummies. Now, what they're saying right now is that gummy vitamins, any gummy type product is actually worse for you than expected. Bear with me while commercials. Nope. So they look and taste just like candy, supposedly provide your body with the essential vitamins and minerals, but if it sounds too good to be true, that is because it probably is, according to some experts and studies. Now, gummies have been invaded our supplement supply in the area as far as getting your multi-dose of vitamins. They are no longer just for kids. Adults as well are taking gummies. Now, gummies in some people who practice like veganism and all those, because of the way they're made, they can't take them. They can't take gel caplets as well because they're made of animal byproducts. Well, right now, they're also saying that people that are the bad part about eating gummies is because of the high sugar content in many of these gummies, which is exactly what makes them more appetizing for an option as far as taking your vitamins every day. It's a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. It can also make a real dent in your recommended daily sugar intake. One gummy typically contains anywhere from 3 to 5 grams of added sugar. It's like drinking a Mountain Dew. Well, close to it, taking a couple sips. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day for women and 9 teaspoons of added sugar for men on a daily basis, or men on a daily basis of 25 to 37. Am I reading that right? So it's saying that the American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugars a day for women and 9 teaspoons of added sugars a day for men. About 25 to 37 grams of sugar a day is what the writer of this article has in her segment. So if you pop a couple gummies and vitamins throughout the day, the added sugar is definitely going to add up. This is maybe an issue for people who are trying to limit their sugar consumption. Sugar-free gummies aren't exactly a free pass either. Often they contain sweetener called sugar alcohol, which makes you shit your pants. So causes, cramps, diarrhea, and all that stuff. So the gummies, in theory, yes, I can take gummies, I can eat it, and I'll be fine. But you're also adding anywhere from 6 to 9 teaspoons of sugar to your diet. So make sure if you're on any kind of strict regimen as far as sugar intake, watch your gummies. It's just, a lot of people don't like the fish oil. I like eating fish oil. It's like I got bowls of cereal. Anyways, I digress. Now, I was talking about, we're just in the midst of coming out of Halloween, and Ring cameras, which are getting more and more popular now, and people are realizing that because there are more and more videos that are being put on, especially TikTok. TikTok calls out everyone because of the Ring camera phenomenon that's out there. So 2 years ago, before TikTok was really, really big, you didn't really see the Ring camera stuff. and you saw videos of kids coming up and grabbing candy out of the bowl, when you leave the bowl out there. First of all, fuck you, parents. Fuck you out there for leaving the one bowl of candy, saying take one. Lazy. 2, don't do it. 3, if you're not going to participate in Halloween, it is a well-noted fact across the whole entire nation, our beautiful nation here, the United States of America, that if you're not participating in Halloween, in Halloween, you do this one thing and every kid knows, don't go to that house. And that thing is, turn your fucking lights off. I don't care what they are, just turn them off. Now, some kids, fuck them. If they want to trick or treat during the day, like the afternoon before the sun goes down, and they come up to your door and, you've got nothing, kids, don't be pissed. Don't be pissed. Well, this one kid did exactly that. He showed up. He started trick or treating at 5 o'clock. As soon as mom got home from work, she's barely taking off her high heels and trying to get her briefcase set down, or I don't know, take her McDonald's apron off, wherever she works. Live on your level. And trying to get the kids dressed and out the door. The kid's already been dressed. He's been home from school for 4 hours. He's got his makeup on. It's all fucked up. His outfit's barely fucked up. And he's hitting the streets already. Well, this one kid right here was caught on the Ring camera, and it's exactly my sentiment as far as people who put notes out or people who do candy with notes saying take just one. So if you want to see this video, don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. And you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the show. Let me switch cameras, camera 4, so we can all see it. We can all be friends. So here we go. Opening this up. Turn this on so we can hear it. Blow this video up.
Hang on. Happy Halloween. This house is not.
So it's 2 kids. One kid's got some kind of, I don't know, fabric pumpkin around his neck, and the other kid's got like a Home Depot apron on. And the kids are walking up to a door camera, and the camera, or a Ring camera, and the camera's a little high so he can see down. So the kid goes, hold on, there's something written on the door, and the kid's going to read it to you. So here we go.
Hang on. Happy Halloween. This house is not practical in trick-or-treating this year. Oh, come on! You had one job!
So the kid goes, this house is not practical in trick-or-treating this year. It's actually participating. The kid can't read. So this is his reaction to it.
Treating this year. Oh, come on! You had one job!
You have one job.
This house not selling any candy.
This house ain't selling any candy. You had one job, house.
You had one job, house. All the one job. You get
So, come on. You had one job, house. They're not selling any candies at this house. Someone comes up behind them and dressed as a unicorn. Kids were pissed. They waited all year for this one job, or for the one time a year, and this one house refuses to participate in it. Now, when I went trick-or-treating as a kid, growing up, I always had to go with my cousins. My cousins were, of course, kind of my age. I had one cousin that was my age, and he had a younger brother, actually an older brother. Let me backtrack a little bit. I had 2 cousins, two brothers, that were, one was my age, one was a little older than me. And every time we went trick-or-treating, of course, our family and their family would get together and go trick-or-treating throughout whatever neighborhood it was. And I'm an only child. So that's why I felt like I was... Looking back now, I always, I think about, oh, little Deacon doesn't have any friends. We'll bring them over to the cousin's house, and they can, be brother or sister or whatever cousins with them, and everyone can go trick-or-treating. So what they're saying right now is, people that are lacking siblings were often a source of bewilderment and concern. Don't you get lonely, people ask? Bet you had someone to play with. Often is an often expression that some people would hear. Some kids that, don't have brothers and sisters. I used to get that all the time. Don't you wish you had a brother or sister? I don't know. I don't have a brother or sister. I don't know what that feels like. So then there was a mantra that was going out there for many years. Oh, you're such an only child became a reoccurring mantra. And then whether I had a asserted strong opinion or play sick to avoid dodgeball in a culture consciousness, only children are frequently pegged as weirdos, maladjusted, selfish, spoiled, uncompromising, and just unusually precocious. We are at a once pitted for the same. So what they're saying is, there was a stigma about families that had kids, only one child. Researchers does not support the idea that only children are any worse off than those with siblings, but kids as young as 8 years old, including what they call onlys, have found themselves to hold prejudices against only kids. Against, yeah. The moniker only child, rather than saying solo or individual child, suggests a sense of deprivation, that word. It's one constant away from only child. Only child is one consonant away from being a lonely child. People ask one another, when do you think you'll have kids? Plural. Where does this weirdness about an only child comes from? A mythic persona of the only child can be tracked all the way back to the 1896 when the Clark University fellow by the name of E.W. Bonham conducted a study of peculiar and exceptional children. After observing more than 1,000 children, he declared that 46 quote-unquote onlys, they have an imaginary companions, do not go to school regularly, and if at all, and don't get along with other children as well. As a rule, are generally spoiled by indulgence and have bad breath in most cases. Notably, most of his subjects lived on isolated farmhouses where they work long hours, and it made sense then that kids with siblings would be better adjusted to those who hardly had any interaction with any children at all. So only child stereotypes proliferated in the following decades. In 1922, the psychologist A.A. Brill wrote, "It would naturally be the best for an individual with the human race if there were no only children at all." In 1968, a Times article read, "The Only Child Syndrome, advising parents to adopt a second child if they couldn't give birth to another one." In 1979, a writer, George Crane, urged people not to marry only children. Their irrationality and inflexibility, he claimed, would make a divorce more likely. Talk about bad PR for only kids, right? Now, I've been married. I almost said divorce. I've been married for, coming up on 10 years now. Yeah, coming up on, 9 years. 9 years. Oh, God. I'm going to get divorced. No, I'm kidding. Got married in 2014. Coming up on 9 years. And in movies doesn't help as well. So today, only children are much more common than they have been in the past. There's a report out there saying that the births in American women shrank from 3.6 in 1957 to 1.7 in 2021. But the multi-children idea is nevertheless persistent. In 2015, people think that families should have at least 2 children. In 2018, 41% of adults think that 3 or more is best, according to Tony Fabelo, who researches only children at the University of Texas in Austin. Financial considerations for only children at the University of Texas in Austin. Did I read that? Oh, they printed it twice, so I read it twice. Especially now with high record loan amount or high record student loan debts and child care costs. Women who are having child later in life women who are having a child later in life than ever before, leaving less time to do it again. Still, Fabio believes that only children negate people's interest of what families should look like. So I'm an only child. I'm fine, right? Do you consider me fine? I feel like I'm fine. People on the outside looking in might not think so, but I am here today and I'm doing well. says Tony, right? Tony? Yes, everything is okay. Thank you very much. Did I click back? Please tell me I did click back. I didn't click back. So, Tony, am I okay? Yes, you're okay. All right. Thank you, Tony. See you later. Do you have to take a break now? Yes, I have to take a break. We'll be right back. I'll talk to you when we're done with this. Is that okay? That's okay. Love you. Love you too, Tony. All right, guys, stick around. A lot more to get into. You'll listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we'll give you something for free, but you have to go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on free swag. Fill out the little form there. Believe me, I'm not going to do anything with your email address. I've got enough shit going on here. I don't need to send out any mass emails as far as like spam or anything like that. So it's just to say thank you for listening to us. And I hope you guys will understand that we appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, for listening to us. We just want to say thank you. So we'll send you out some stickers, some magnets, just a little token of our appreciation. And don't forget, most of you guys, I don't know if you know this or not, I do another podcast that is geared toward the equine industry or horses. It's called Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. It's a 30-minute podcast. You can find that on iHeartRadio and all your different podcatchers out there. We are getting ready to start season 4. And essentially, Mike Stein's professional farrier. He deals with the biomechanics of a horse, and what that means is starting from the ground all the way up to the top of the horse. He can see the movement of a horse and how to fix or adjust the way a horse's movement is if they're, professional. Well, they're more professional. What am I trying to say here? For all your professional and contestant horses out there, or people or horses that ride in like competitions and stuff, whether it be a derby, eventing horses, dressage horses, or hunter jumpers as well. Mike Stein has seen it all and done it all as far as taking care of these horses. It's an interesting thing if you're in the equine world and you're thinking about getting a horse, or you have a horse. A lot of good information there. We have a lot of great and interesting guests on the program. Now, and he's the smart one. I'm the simpleton of the show. Kind of like this one, but I'm all by myself. But right now, I'm bringing this article up because this is kind of the things that we kind of talk about sometimes on the. We don't talk about it at all, actually. So I'm going to bring this article up because I just thought it was funny. I showed it to Mike, and he's like going, Jesus Christ, I'm in the wrong business. You can now buy $1,200 sneakers for your horse. Now, if you want to see this, what it looks like for every podcast we do, we have a matching video. We'd like for you to subscribe and like and follow us over on YouTube as well. And you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the show. So if you ever wanted your horse to have a horse size Adidas so it can match your shoes as well, you're in luck. But you have to shell out over $1,000 for a pair of custom horses. So take that times 2 because horses have 4 legs. Marcus Floyd, a Kentucky-based artist, started developing a prototype of horse sneakers as part of a collaboration with Visit Lex, Lexington's public tourism agency. Visit Lex reached out to Floyd ahead of the Breeders' Cup as a series of equestrian racers as a series of equestrian races held in Lexington on November 4th and 5th. Their initiative was to bring awareness to the bluegrass state like Kentucky as a whole, he explained to CNN. Floyd, self-described a longtime sneakerhead or sneaker pimp, has previously experienced with shoe designs and modifications. He attended the 4-day intensive program called the Shoe Surgeons Academy to learn how to deconstruct and reconstruct a popular sneaker. Construction of these shoes takes as long as 17 hours, according to Floyd. He starts by buying the sneakers themselves, for example, like a pair of Air Jordans, and then deconstructs them, carefully pulling them apart piece by piece and reassembling them on the top of a pre-made protective horse boot. He strove to keep the design accurate while adjusting the shape of the horse's ankle or adjusting to the shape of the horse's ankle and foot. And yes, the sneakers actually are wearable, says Floyd. So if you want to see a picture of this, you can see this. It looks like if you were a midget or you had a club foot and you put this on your foot. That's what it looks like. It looks like a shoe without the long toe coming off the front of it. But they're horses, they're Nike or Air Jordans or whatever brand that you want. He kind of breaks them down and reconstructs them and restitches them to the horse boot. So there's no real support or anything on them because the boot's already there. This is strictly aesthetics. Pretty soon, though, like I said to Mike when I showed him this, you'll be out there with a glue gun bedazzling, the boots and stuff to make everything fancy for everyone else. So there you go. If you want horseshoes, $1,200. Now, we were talking earlier about how the boom of the Nest cameras and the Ring cameras and all that has taken off. And we're seeing a lot more videos thanks to TikTok. Gives us a venue to post all this stuff. Now, something that we're also more and more being available to us is AirTags. Now, if you don't know what AirTags are, they're little round dots. I guess they're made for Apple only. I don't know if Android has one or has something similar to it. And essentially what you do, it's about the size of a nickel or a quarter, depending on what state you're from. And you kind of flip it into something. For example, or stick it to something. For example, if you want to, just a prime example, stick an AirTag to your phone, right? Now, granted, if someone steals your phone, they can peel that e-tag or the AirTag off of it and just throw it away. But if you physically lose your phone, like in your house, you can walk around with someone else's phone and look for your phone. Or if you want to keep track of your car or anything like that, you can stick these AirTags on it and you can follow. It's a tracer, just like in the movies. Well, this guy right here was up in Alaska doing a documentary filming shoot and bought like 4 AirTags and said, hey, I want to make sure that all my film gear and stuff comes back to the United States. I know he's in Alaska, but he's in Alaska flying over a whole bunch of ice and stuff and landing in California. So he took a couple of these AirTags and kind of threw them in, what a Pelican brief is, or those big briefcases that keep audible or camera equipment or something like that. And threw a couple in there, close the case, locked it up, and then you can follow it to make sure that if your luggage, which happens a lot, gets lost on an air flight, you know exactly where it's at. So Eric Weber, an Oscar-winning film producer based in Los Angeles, California, was traveling with United Airlines from Anchorage back to California on October 29th after completing a project. He said he had a layover in Denver and then returned to home on October 30th. When he made it back to his home, he began to unpack and noticed some of his items that he checked in his luggage were unzipped. At first, he paid them no mind and just assumed it happened by accident when everything was bouncing around for the last week. He says, I long checked. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I don't want a security scan. Go away. Go. Oh, wait. Stop. Stop. No, stop. Jesus Christ. Go fuck yourself. Stark McAfee. No, don't start McAfee. Go fuck yourself. Jesus. No wonder they killed him. All right, where did I leave off? So he said he had long checked bags holding his light stands and tripods and other small items that are dense. So, but when it came to Monday, while preparing his camera and gear for another shoot, he realized that something was wrong. He couldn't find some of the items that he knew that he packed in the long check bag at in his hotel in Anchorage, preparing for the trip back. While racking his brain to figure out where these items must have been, he remembered that he placed these air tags in his luggage. Weber pulled up his iPhone and started tracking these equipment that were hidden, where he had hidden these air tags. Just in case, an occasion like this, it was immediately able to determine his missing equipment was nowhere near him. He then eventually found out they weren't even in the same state. In fact, his gear was all the way back, according to the air tags, back in Alaska, which appeared to be in someone's home. He said he ran a quick Street View Google search on the web address and the resident many miles from the airport. Now, Weber knew where his equipment was and came to the conclusion that it had been taken out of his bag by an airport employee. The estimated values of the items were missing were just a couple $100, but it just made him mad. So what he said was he reached out to Twitter, thank you Elon Musk, and made a Twitter post tagging United, knowing that it would get their attention immediately. His post went like this: "Hey, at United, one of your employees at the Anchorage airport rummaged through my bag and took some of my film equipment home with them. They inadvertently took my Apple AirTag, which I had hidden on there as well." United Airlines responded to Weber's post within an hour, and the airline apologized for the inconvenience, according to Weber, and has begun investigating what happened. As of this report, Weber has not yet got his equipment returned, but has filed a missing claims and is awaiting to hear back from United. According to Weber, the airline was unable to confirm whether a United employee or possibly an airport employee took any of the missing items. Neither Weber nor United file a police report as well, because they probably took just the right amount that it didn't really cost a whole lot, and it'd be like small claims court if they ever do. But still, AirTags do work. Put them on stuff that you don't want stolen, but Jesus, Alaska, they don't have a whole lot of stuff going on in Alaska, so anytime they see something like that, by all means, it's like it's like the tundra out there. Well, it is a tundra out there. It's not like it. And if they don't see anything that, they're hurting for stuff out there. They don't get a whole lot of supplies shipped to them out there. So any flights coming in and out of there, of course, they're going to go through that and see if they need it, to build or keep themselves alive out there in Anchorage. Well, do me a favor. You live in Anchorage. You live in Alaska. You live in Anchorage. Figure it out. Oh, God. I almost said live on your level again, but I'm not going to say it this time. Maybe next episode. Maybe next segment. All right, guys. So would you like to be paid to do a beer run for 2 years? Yeah, I know. Put some air tags on your stuff. Well, this company right here is going to pay you to run around the world and drink some beer and get paid for it. But you got to do it for 2 years. I don't know if it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but we'll find out when we come back. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is to go on over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts. And while you're there, don't forget that the Prophet Radio, they had a huge hit, big turnout as far as playing Halloween music. And if you don't know what Prophet Radio is, it's a live streaming broadcast that plays the latest music from... start that over. I don't even know what Profit. I own it. I don't know what it is. Welcome back to Deacon Live. If you want something for free, we'll love to. How much free stuff am I giving away? Huh? I know. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. We're available on YouTube. We're available on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, all your podcatchers out there. Just search Deacon Live Podcast and make sure you like, subscribe, and share us as well. We'd love for you to do that. And then we'll give you something for free. And the way you get that something for free is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on free swag. We'll send you out something right away. Stickers, magnets, some buttons. We got a bunch of shit up here. And Prophet Radio, we'd like to thank the people over there that run Prophet Radio. It's a live streaming 24/7 music broadcasting station. And a lot of the songs and stuff that you hear on Deacon Live, you can hear the full-length songs over there as well. They just got done doing a whole 24 hours, 36 hours of nonstop Halloween music, which was really, really fun to listen to. And then don't forget, the closer we get to Christmas, I think they will be doing the worst Christmas songs. When I say worst Christmas songs, not your normal Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm talking about rock bands, R&B artists, rap artists that are doing Christmas songs, stuff that you've never heard before. So make sure you check them out as well the closer we get to the Christmas time season. And have some fun. You can put that in the background for your bad sweater party as well. Now, we were talking about going on a beer run. A company right now will pay you to go drive around the United States to all the breweries in an RV for 2 years. A company has recently posted a job listing that for a beer lover's dream. Let's see. Harvey Host, a RV company, is looking for an ale blazer. Ideal candidate would have to travel the company's hosted 500 plus breweries and distilleries and spend the night on each location. A company wants an ale blazer, that's what they're calling them, to help capture the unique experience of traveling with Harvest Host and leaving a review for each location, documenting their trip on social media while designing the best route for future travelers. The purpose of this job is to design North America's ultimate ale trail. The employee will earn a daily stipend. The job comes with an RV and, of course, free beer. Well, how many people are going to be in it? If it's just going to be you and free beer, how fun is that? I'm just pulling over the side of the road, drinking all the beer, and then tipping the RV over and setting it on fire. Potential candidates must be at least 20 years of age and with a valid driver's license to participate. Is that it? Is that all it's going to tell me? I got no links or anything. Great advertising. That's it. Oh, let's see. Click on this link. See what happens here. Compensation. Yeah, that's it. Compensation. Free beer. Along with RV loan for your epic road trip. I'm on the actual jobs.lever.co, Harvest Host, and then whatever it is. Local breweries and distilleries will include as well a $50 a day stipend for the trip, and of course a lifetime Harvest Host membership. Apply for this job. Let's see what's going on here. Attach a resume? No. Full name. Do you have a U.S. valid license? This looks kind of sketchy. I don't know. Ale Blazer, A-L-E Blazer. Search that. There's not a whole lot to it. Somehow it made an article over there at Fox 10, over there in Arizona or something like that. I don't forget where it's at. Now, someone who probably participated in some kind of beer run or ale blazer is this gentleman right here, Joe Nevis. In 2016, is this him talking? Let's see.
I felt down and felt my shin bone.
Okay, this is let me tell you this story right here. So Joe Nevis of Marysville was run over by an Amtrak train on December 24th, 2016. A jury Thursday, following the impassionate plea of Joe Navis's lawyer, the juries awarded him $57 million in damages for the Christmas Eve 2016 damages, where the train actually sliced off his legs. Now you're saying, well, what the hell is he doing laying on the track, and why is the train cutting off his legs? His attorney says he has 40 more years to live. 40 more years of finding his way through the doors, of people holding the doors for him, holding elevators, says his attorney, Raymond McEfflish. They all know what they did, McEfflish said, and they know what it's worth. The Amtrak company, the Marsville Rideout Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Hector Lopez compensate him and let him live his life to the best that he can do. So let me break this down for you as much as possible without boring you with all the simple details. So what happened is Joe, let's see, where's his name? Joe Nemes was completely intoxicated, and he was picked up by the local police department, and they said, well, you're not driving or anything, you're not doing anything, you're just out here being drunk and stuff. We're going to take you to the hospital because you are wasted. So they brought him into the hospital. The hospital treated him for a little bit and then let him go. There's a lot to unpack here, so hold on. So what they're saying is that the police department brought him in. What's the name of the hospital? Maybe I should just read it to you and just be simple with it. So let's start here. McEfflish, who originally wrote in the court papers was seeking $32 million, said that Nevis, 34, was a victim of a series of negligent acts by the hospital that led him to wander out in the night after he was brought in by being too drunk for jail and also by a train engineer who never saw Nevis nearly sprawled out on the ground with his legs over the railroad tracks. He has been treated correctly by his defendant, Dr. Lopez, not as an outcast. If he had been treated correctly by the defendant, Dr. Lopez, not as an outcast, he would not have been there on the track. His attorney says, these people do not do their job, and these people have violated their standard of care. Is Mr. Nevis responsible for this? For some of this? Of course. Why not? McEfflish insisted Nevis would have never been on the tracks in the Marysville even if he had been prematurely discharged, if he had not been prematurely discharged from the hospital. Did you get all that? McEfflish said that Nevis would have never been on the track in Marysville if he would not have been prematurely discharged from the hospital. He would not have lost his legs, and the Coast Starlight passenger train that cut his legs off. They are also blaming Chris Edson for not watching the tracks ahead of the train that night. McEfflish says, you are operating a giant machine. You have to look around. Why didn't you see him or blow a horn? The question is, would that have worked? Well, you got to start out by saying it's 100 decibels that would wake anyone from a dead sleep. The lawyer of the railroad and the hospital and Lopez, the doctor, all disputed the claims that the Amtrak attorney, Jason Schreff, placed blame squarely on Nevis, the gentleman who lost his legs, who said that he had no memory of how he ended up on the tracks at 3 a.m. on December 24th, 2016. With a person who chooses to trespass on private property in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and chooses to lay their legs on an active railroad track, we don't know if they're active or not, they cannot be blamed for the train running over, is what the train conductor's attorney said. Nevis, the guy who lost his legs, has never taken responsibility for the incident. It was all captured on the train video camera and played for the jury several times over the course of a 3-week trial. Can you imagine this, watching this over and over, and back and to the left and back and to the left? In it, you can see Nevis had been seen moving his legs up and down as the train approaches, continues down the track at 30 miles an hour without stopping. So he's literally sitting there laying on the tracks. Let me see this. You guys want to see this picture? I'll show you the picture because it's got a picture of him here. I'll switch the camera for it. There he is laying on the track. So you could see him. He's literally laying the knees right there on the rail. And he's just, if he's out there doing bicycle crunches, Pilates type stuff on the train tracks, you would see him. Hey, watch out for me. They were told. So the argument continues, saying that you don't need a PhD to determine that you should see a 15-foot tall train with giant lights thousands of feet away. It's all common sense is what the argument was. They were told by somebody that I was going to be laying on the track dressed in black and switched into the, okay. So he was discharged. Everyone's pointing their fingers at each other. So is it the police department for bringing him in? Is it the hospital for discharging him? He was free to go on his own recognizance. Once they check him out and make sure that he's not a threat or anything. And then what do? They do the whole classic wheelchair out to the curb. You know how, because no one can leave a hospital on their own 2 feet. They have to take a wheelchair out, and then they put him on the curb and they go, okay, find a taxi. And he gets up, walks, stumbles across, a field or whatever. And there's a train track right next to him. Some kind of supply train track, lays on the train tracks. And then they're blaming the driver of the train, the conductor of the train, not seeing him laying on the train tracks. It's a whole mess. Well, anyways, this has been going on since 2016. A jury awards him $57 million. And if you want to hear his story, here we go. Let me see. Are we still on camera 4? I know we are. We're still on camera 4. So let's see what Joe Nevis has to say.
I don't remember the incident at all. I remember waking up in the pitch black, feeling like my legs were numb, like I'd been walking through snow all day.
What else?
I couldn't see my legs, so I felt down and felt my shin bone. My phone was dead from earlier that day, so I was just stuck there in the dark with no legs.
You weren't far from the hospital, right?
I could actually see right out hospital from where I was laying, the lights on the top of the building.
How were you rescued?
Right about sunrise, I got woke up to another train passing me. I didn't see the engine. I just woke up.
So a train went by him, sliced his legs off, and he didn't wake up until a couple hours later. Another train woke him up, passing him in the daylight.
The rumbling as it was passing me. Nothing happened there, so I was kind of awake. At that point, it was daylight, so I could see the damage. And shortly after that, I heard a dirt bike coming my way, and I flagged the guy down.
And he ran over me.
How did you survive? How did you not bleed out from losing both your legs and sitting there for hours? Any idea?
I'm very strong-willed. I made myself roll away and go to bed after I yelled for 20, 30 minutes for help. Nobody was coming.
So there you go. Joe Nevis lost his legs. So do you blame the hospital for releasing him? Do you blame the train conductor for not stopping the train? Or the police department for not putting him in jail and making sure he's okay before they release him? All right, guys, stick around. A couple more segments to get into, and we'll let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, all the musical artists that you hear on Deacon Live can be found over at Prophet Radio. Go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, and you can find out all the links and stuff to hear these great artists, these musical. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, and you can find all the artists, all the information for all the artists that you hear on our broadcasts, make sure you like and subscribe to them as well. They'd appreciate it, and we appreciate them as well. Now, how many people out there pick your nose? I know. How do we get into this conversation? Well, you know, I've always picked my nose, as many of you have, as a kid, and, you know, pick in there and get around, because a lot of times I can't breathe. And a lot of times, you know, you just can't. Are you a mouth breather or are you a nose breather? I'm a nose breather. And I can't stand, you know, hair in my nose. So if one gets a little loose, you know, you grab it and pull it out. And you're like, oh, man, that one was deep. And then you see videos of people on like Instagram, on TikTok, and they're doing the whole where they almost get like a popsicle stick. Not a popsicle stick, but a round dowel, and put wax on it, and they shove it in people's noses and let it sit there, and then they yank it out and yank all the hairs out of their nose. And they're like going, oh, look how beautiful you are. Well, guess what? Doing that, picking your nose and removing the hairs out of your nose is going to make you stupid later on in life. And when I say stupid, it could cause dementia. Dementia is a terrifying illness that impacts more than 20% of Americans, adults between the ages of 85 and 89. Now, hold on. 85 to 89, what's the life expectancy of anyone here in the United States? Is it that far? I know people that are like 70-something years old, even early or late 60s that went into dementia. Maybe they were nose pickers. There's a lot that doctors still don't understand about dementia and why people develop it, but one study has a theory. Dementia could be linked to nose picking. Well, sort of. The study, which is published in the Scientific Reports in February, has suddenly gotten a lot of attention after a press release from Griffin University that says that the study, which is led by Griffin researchers, suggested that picking your nose could increase the risk of developing Alzheimer and or dementia. But the study itself has a little more complicated than that. If you've ever picked your nose, as many people have, such as myself, there's it's understandable to have questions about this. It's important to point out that the study that was done was on mice, not humans. And that they found that the study followed, for the study, the researchers took Chlamydia pneumoniae, a respiratory tract pathogen that can be infected in the central nervous system, and rubbed it on the inside of one of the noses of the mouse. So basically, they're putting something in there so they can actually track it. It infects the central nervous system, has been linked to development of dementia later on in life. So they put this in the mice's nose and then went on from there. The researchers found that infecting the mice this way led to key pathways involved in the development of the Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's goes through your nose. Researchers concluded that the nerves that go from the nasal cavity go straight to the brain. That's why people do cocaine and it hits them a lot faster. It's important to point out that the studies didn't specify or tie the nose picking to dementia, but one of the researchers suggested that continuously picking your nose and removing all the protective layers and stuff inside your nose could contribute to the lack of protection that your nose would have as far as getting this bacteria straight to your brain. Picking your nose and plucking your hairs from your nose is not a good idea. We don't want to damage the inside of our nose, and picking and plucking can do that. So if you damage the lining of your nose, you can increase the risk of bacteria going up there and straight up to your brain. That's where you always hear stories about amoebas and like lake waters and stuff creeping in your nose and, finding a shortcut going straight to your brain. Kind of the same effect. So exact causes of dementias aren't well understood, but the CDC lists off several factors that increase the risk development of this condition. Those include getting older, anyone 65 and up, okay, having a family history of dementia or nose pickers, being African American or Hispanic, which is interesting, having poor heart health, specifically high blood pressure and high cholesterol, or having traumatic brain injury as well. So, can picking your nose cause dementia? It's hard to tell at this point. I do believe that bacteria can infect the nose. It is a very clear finding, they said, based on the mice research. But the infection that can damage the nerve the infection that can damage the nerves present in the nose, however, damage of local nerves in the nose leading to brain injury is a leap a little too far, and they're not want to jump there. So let's go ahead and write this article to scare everyone that if you pick your nose, you're going to have Alzheimer or dementia as well. But you ready for this? Here's the big but. If you do have dementia or Alzheimer, the best thing to do is what? Keep your brain stimulated, keep your brain going and stuff like that. Now, I bought a new PlayStation 5 against my wishes and for my wife's wishes to keep me occupied. No, buy the game. I don't want to buy the system. No, buy the game. It keeps you out of my hair. I will sit there and I will plan a whole day of just sitting there playing PlayStation 5. And I've been playing Borderlands or Tina's Wonderlands. My wife can't figure out the difference between two games. All you gamers out there know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a really, really fun game. Now, what they're saying right now is new results from a clinical trial lasting over years has shown that playing crossword puzzles may be more effective at slowing age-related cognizance decline more than playing modern video games to help improve memory. So I'm at a loss there too. Pick my nose and playing video games, I'm going to be dumb in 20 years. A trial led by a team of researchers in Columbia University and Duke University recruited over 100 participants around the ages of 70. They didn't know what they were doing. With mild cognitive impairment. The cohort was evenly split in between playing video games or playing crossword puzzles. The first 12 weeks of the trial, the subjects were tasked for 4 30-minute game sessions per week and then competed booster sessions comprised of a week of gaming sessions every other few months for the next year and a half. The findings were surprising that researchers, after 78 weeks of these scores, found out the crossword group had improved slightly, while the same source for those playing video games had actually worsened slightly as well. All right, you guys play video games over there. You guys play crossword puzzles, and we'll figure out who's the dumber of the two of you. Sure enough, the PlayStation people playing video games got dumber because they had dementia and stuff. And the people who actually was playing the crossword puzzles did a lot more better as far as probably triggering a lot more memories and stuff. You ever done a crossword puzzle? There's a lot more going on than just like left turn, right turn, and following patterns on a video game. So I could see that happening. So if you feel yourself getting a little out there, do some crossword puzzles. That'll keep your mind active as well. Now I see the whole draw as far as people, the older they get, the more they want to do crossword puzzles. I see that draw now. All right, guys, stick around. I got one more segment to get into, and we'll let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to be heard? Of course you do. Everyone would like to be heard. They want to have a voice in this situation, in any situation, and we'd love to hear from you as well. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. At the bottom of the page says Be Heard, and click on that. Opens up a microphone on whatever device you're listening to us at, and you can be anonymous. We'd like to hear from you. And for whatever podcast catcher out there, we include that link in the description, and it says Be Heard. Click on that as well. Opens up the same microphone, and you can talk to us and be right on the broadcast with us in tandem as we're here in the studio. Now, we're getting close to Christmas time. Halloween just passed away. And now I've seen all the memes and stuff as far as, Halloween's gone. Time to break out the Christmas stuff. We haven't even gotten to Thanksgiving. I think, by all means, in the next 5 years, Thanksgiving itself is going to be gone away. Because it's kind of like Columbus Day. Columbus Day had this, all right, it's Columbus Day. Yay, we get a day off. And then, no, he was bad. And, Indigenous People Day. I think Thanksgiving is going to go by the wayside where everyone's like going to go, what's the hell's Thanksgiving? What is that? Everyone, the same thing. Columbus Day. What the hell's Columbus Day? So we jump right into Thanksgiving, or not in Thanksgiving. We're jumping right into Christmas as well. Now, along with Christmas comes, Santa Claus out there ringing the bell, and it is the Salvation Army. But there are also a lot of other people out there that are wanting your money as well. And down in West Palm Beach, the West Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office says be on a nationwide lookout for a Sofia scam. It was reported recently on the intersection of Lake Worth Road and South Jog Road, Jog, this past Saturday, October 29th. The photos are shared by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Shows these two women. I don't know if they're from Russia. They don't look from here. And they have these t-shirts on that says donation. Sofia needs surgery for a heart malformation. And they have a picture of a baby in the corner on like a breather or something like that. And they have QR codes or all that stuff. Deputies say that the scammers, typically in groups of 3 or 6, position themselves in high-traffic intersections in shopping plazas and ask for donations for baby Sofia. In reality, the money goes straight into their pockets. You ever seen the walking up and down the street, fill the boot, and it's got firefighters or something, and they're out there with a boot, put money in the boot, and you're like going, all right, well, we'll do the firefighters and stuff. And I always go, aren't they pretty much funded by the county or whatever municipality that they're in? And don't they do all these fundraisers and stuff? And aren't most of them volunteers? Why are we funding them for the most part? Call me crazy, but I do pick my nose. The sheriff's office said that this cruel and unethical practice does not violate Florida state statute, in which results in criminal arrest. Deputies want to inform the public of this roadside scam like these. So if you see these people out there giving, you're donating money, it's a scam. But I guess there's no law in Florida that says that, hey, they can't, as long as they have like a panhandler's license. I know this was a big thing many, many years ago. As long as they have like a panhandler's license, they can literally go out there and say, save my cat Mittens. When you got Mittens on a board and you're like, save my cat Mittens, needs a heart transplant. Oh, Mitten, we love cats. We love Mittens. We don't want Mittens to die. As long as you have all the proper paperwork and stuff done, you can do this. That doesn't make sense to me, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Now, something right now that's not making a lot of sense to a lot of people is this new perfume out there. Now, I've never been a perfume guy, and like in my early 20s and my dating years and stuff like that. But the older I got, I wanted to smell nice for my wife. And I'm like, well, put some of this on me, put some of this on me. What do you like? What do you want me to smell like? In our dating years, I'm like, what do you want me to smell like? She would buy me this, she'd buy me that. And then over the years, I've learned to acquire. I was one of those hippie oil people. I just put patchouli on me and I'd be fine and gone for days, But my wife says, oh, you'd smell good like this. Of course, you leave it to the woman to make you smell and look the way you do. Now, there is actually, on TikTok, there is a subreddit that's called Perfume Talk. And the fragrances out there, people are posting all these different things. Like, there's a perfume called Baccarat Rouge, for example, dubbed the fragrance that will stop you in the street, and the rich girl's perfume. Its intoxicating notes of saffron, jasmine, and ambergris. Both those words look the same to me. Took it a limited time edition. It's a limited edition scent that's gone worldwide sensation, and you can buy it right now. Not buy it right now, but, according to TikTok users. So the compliments on this one Baccarat Rouge goes like this. Being told that, so wearing some of these perfumes and colognes and fragrances, some of these smelly good stuff during the perfume TikTok subreddit go like this. Being told you smell good is perhaps a particular. So with all these smells and everything, you want to have, to stand out in a crowd, I guess. As compliments go, being told you smell good perhaps is a pinnacle, particularly as a perfume has trumped a designer's handbag right now and becoming something more of a status symbol of his late. It's no wonder that then our obsession shows no sign of slowing down, and in many years of beauty journey. So there's a new perfume out there that's taking over the new trend as far as a status symbol. No more handbags, no more Nike horseshoes or anything like that. It's a new fragrance. It's a new smell, perfume called Missing Persons. It was crafted by Constance Georgier-Picot. Other world-renowned perfumes by Fleur, P-H-L-U-R, include Frank Dojagluk and Jerome Epinette. Missing Persons marries a fresh bergamot, jasmine, and neroli blossoms as a warm-based note of sandalwood. With over 6.8 million TikTok views on the fragrance has repeatedly sold out. It's repeatedly sold out in the United States. Now available in the UK, the fanfare is more intense than ever. On paper, you might think that the aforementioned notes aren't anything special. It's a way they melt into each other that serves you a musky haze, which the brand says invokes the lingering scent of your lover's skin. It has created so much intrigue, sure enough, to smell Missing Persons for the first time feels undoubtedly familiar, cozy, comforting, but also has mostly gone viral, making people cry. All right, let's go. So if you want to see this video right here, this is actually people smelling and giving their first reaction on TikTok. Of course, if they say, "No, this smells like shit," it ain't going to happen. But of course, they're going to do something to make it more notable for their page. So here we go. Let's see their reaction as far as smelling Missing Person for the first time.
The best way to describe it is it smells like the feeling of being in love, and it's very familiar.
Okay, you said this perfume smells like being in love. I immediately bought it when you said that. Because if I smell this and I don't feel in love, am I actually in love? Okay, jokes aside, this scent is by Fleur. It's called Missing Person, and it's supposed to smell like a familiar scent, like someone you would miss.
This girl's got a really, really weird constructed face, so I'm having a hard time getting past that. But anyways, carry on.
The first note is skin musk. Such a beautiful, simple bottle. I really like it. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go.
She sprays it on her arm. She waves it around. She hits the bottle. She puts it in front of her face. She's smelling. Hold on.
Well, bro. That is fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
Perfume is so fucking powerful. I don't know how to explain this, but it smells like a person that you love and you miss. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. This is incredibly well done.
She's gonna cry.
Oh my God, I love it.
So there she goes. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. It's a missing person. So if you're looking for that last minute Christmas gift or the first one to start off your Christmas gift shopping spree, look for Plafeur, I guess, Fleur, and the scent, the perfume is called Missing Person. So if you ever had any interaction with that, let me know. And the way you do that is go over to ProfitRadio.com. You can email me at any time. Deacon at Prophet Radio. I'd like to hear from you as well. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts. While you're there, get yourself something for free. Fill out that little section that says free swag. And also, we'd like to hear from you. I want to hear if you've taken that Plafeur perfume called Missing Person. Click on the Be Heard section. A little blue bar opens up a microphone on your tablet, wherever you're listening to us at, and speak right into it, and we'll play it on the very next podcast. Your results or your critique of that as well. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. My name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
Wait, come back.
The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
That's all I got. See ya. We do this, so it's a nice